Welcome to Level Up Academy podcast. This is your host, Dr. Leland. Hopefully, you guys can hear me well today. Happy Wednesday. We are technically in the past. And I'll tell you what's happening on that one. So, anyhow, today we have Tommy that's going to be coming from Laos. And we're going to actually talk about a lot of things when it comes to what is holistic coaching, right? You have a life coach, you have mental coach, you have business coach, and Tommy's a life coach, but he takes the approach of holistic coaching. And so we're going to dig deep on who is Tommy Diependaal, what does he do? And let's even ask, why are you in Laos? Like, I'm actually curious. And I wanted to ask him when we Zoom, but I'm going to reserve it to this recording and show for you guys because I want you guys to know who is Tommy, and he has been really supportive in the Hounds of Business community. And I see him commenting on my post on Level Up Academy as well. So that's what you get, folks. If you belong to our group, HOB, and then you are active on my peripheral, you get to be in our show to get to know you. The whole point is for all of us, wherever you are in the world, technology is here to stay, to basically connect no matter where. So long as you have the internet, you are good to go. So we'll go ahead and actually show you a couple of things that's happening with Level Up Academy. The first thing is academic publishing. So I'm calling on all academicians. If you have a master's degree, a doctorate in business administration, that's a DBA, that's a business doctor. That is my degree, business doctor, and a PhD in any discipline. It doesn't matter if you have a master's in healthcare, even if you have a JD, which is an equivalent to a doctorate, but a law degree, right? If you have a JD, and you are practicing, please give me a holler. Okay. It happens only once every 2 years. It's very intense to do this program, but I am doing it again this year. I did it in 2022 with 10 PhDs. And so this time I'm actually having a master's and on for PhD. You are going to be in a summit as a presenter in academics. We will turn your research presentation into the academic published manuscript. It's going to be in 61 different countries, including China and Japan. And I say that's because they have a very rigorous and strict policy on what books goes into their university. And of course, exposed to their people. I am not the publisher, although I do publish self-publishing and also on the traditional publishing house, like distribution channels. This time, I'm not the publisher. I am the main editor. So it's going to be in about between 3 to 6 different languages. So guess what? If you are going to do this, technically doing one manuscript, you'll have 6 books. 3 to 6 books all at once because it's going to be in 6 different languages. So it's definitely in English. It's going to be in French, Italian, Portuguese, German, and Spanish, I believe. That's what happened in 2022. I don't know if they're going to pick the same language again. What they do is they actually have polls on universities who inquire, right, for specific academic publishing, and that's the language that they convert it to. I don't know if you guys have done conversion on different languages, but usually a minimum of maybe 60 to 100 pages on conversion of languages. Even with AI, it is about $10,000 2 years ago. Okay, so think about $10,000 times 6 different languages. That's $60,000 that you do not have to pay. Right? And in an editor, it could cost you between $10,000 to $20,000. We're charging $1,000 and that's it. There is no hidden cost, nothing. Right? And Level Up Academy just actually got approved in terms of financing with Klarna. If you're not familiar with Klarna, basically instead of paying a whole $1,000, you would pay divided by 4 in those payments every 2 weeks. So it's easy on your pocket. If you are in academics, right? This is something that you need. honestly, because this is something that's your professional growth, and this makes you more competitive when you are a published author, specifically in academics, not just in Amazon on self-publishing and all that. This is above that in terms of academic publishing. I do have limited seats. I cannot have a lot of people. I can probably have about maximum of 10 to 20 max. And whether we get people or not to do it, I am going to do it because I committed myself to every 2 years to do academic publishing. I was actually only planning to do it myself and one person, but I thought I will give it to my community to see if you're interested to be a published author in academic publishing. This is my dear sister Susanna. We're doing Against the Grain, Belonging in a World of Resistance. And this book is now our fourth self-published book. We basically split our publishing 4 times a year, every 3 months. All of our published book this year in 2024, we have #1 international best-selling authors, and everyone who is in our anthology are also number one best-selling international best-selling authors as well. We have one that's coming up right now. It's 20% off because we want as many people as possible. It's called Scattered Pages, and you can literally write. There's no theme at all for next year, guys. In March, you can write whatever you want. If you're a business owner, if you are a life coach, you're academic, and you want to specifically talk about your business, I don't care. It's almost like advertising. And so that is what we have for our next anthology. And this is the anthology that I am talking about. Okay, 20% off for December only. And then it goes back to 500. We try as much as possible to lower the cost, but they might go up in June for sure. But this is the March one. So by first quarter of next year, you'll be a published author if you do Scattered Pages. And why do you want to do it? To gain global visibility, establish yourself as an authority in your field further, because you already are more likely. Share your impactful story with a like-minded community, build your personal brand and legacy. That is the most important thing in your business, and connect and network with other influential contributors. Okay. And then in terms of books, so far I have 18 with 4 magazines. We're hitting 22, 22 activities, right, for me. So I'm hoping I can do 10 books next year, crossing my fingers. I did 7 or 8 this year, so I'm hoping I can do 10 next year. So we shall see. Mike to Millions, my book, actually is #1 top new release. It's all about podcasting and why you should podcast, especially if you are a business owner. Okay. So, are you guys ready? I hope so. Hello, everybody. Okay, so we're gonna have Tommy. Hello, Tommy. How
Good
are you?
morning. Well, I'm good. A little bit chill, like we say before. It is the cool season here, even in Southeast Asia. I was shocked when I moved to Laos that I find out that in Southeast Asia you can also have cold weather, that you have a jacket on and socks on, and that was actually what I was escaping from living in the Netherlands. I think, oh, never cold weather anymore, and I end up in Laos, and again I have a couple months with some days that it can be pretty cool. Let's say it nicely, cool.
Yeah, at least you're not minus degrees though, right? I was living in Boston, and it was like minus 10 degrees, minus 5 degrees. I was like, no, thank you. I'm not handling that. That's
No,
way.
but in the northern part of Laos, in the mountains, you can have around freezing at night, not in the daytime, at night. So you have some night frost, but lucky not in my part.
Yeah, no, no, no. You look like you're not that cold right now. I'm the one that looks like I'm cold. I'm in my sweater on. And I'm
No,
in California, so it's not that cold, but I'm an island girl. I like being warm for sure. Now, let's go ahead and dive into this conversation. This is always my first question. Think back 20 years ago and find within your timeline some of the significant changes in your life that got you here where you are today.
who? Well, 20 years ago, I was already in Bangkok, but let's go 25 years. So I was on holiday on Koh Samui, and I tell you a funny story. in my teenage years, I was always thinking that I want to live on a tropical island on the beach. Growing up with people from a former colony, Indonesia, most likely I had some beaches from the Indonesian island group in my mind. But I ended up with a holiday on Koh Samui, 2 weeks only, because my travel partner, one of my friends, he want to see I think the European football competition, so we want to be on time back. But my wish came true, or my visualization. 6 weeks after the holiday, I was back on Koh Samui, and I stayed there for 10 weeks. And then I was a short time back in the Netherlands and again back. So the first 2 years, I was about 70% of my time in Thailand. And by 2002, I moved 100% to Thailand. And then I ended up in Bangkok, so not on the beach, because, well, you want to make money. And I didn't want to go in the tourist scene. So that is my history, how I end up in Southeast Asia, more or less.
And why stay there?
Another thing is so funny. As a former bodybuilder, I can eat whatever I want without getting fat because I have enough physical activities. But my food was Asian food, even in the Netherlands. Like I grew up with Asian people since my age, 9 years old, when I get my first friend from the background Indonesia. And I love that food. So in a certain moment, my friends were saying oh, you love the Indonesian girls, right? And I say, well, I like the food, and it is more easy if you have a girl that can cook that food to get the food that you want to eat. So when I ended up in Bangkok, I met one of my girlfriends, and we stayed together for 4.5 years. And she was original from the Philippines, but she was hanging out with people from Indonesia. So I ended up in Bangkok in a whole group of Indonesian people. And then I was man, I do something wrong. I'm moving to Thailand, and I'm still with Indonesian friends. So then I had best of both worlds. Regular Indonesian food and Thai food. Thai food is so good. So yeah, food is an important part in my life, but I eat real food, whole foods, so not factory produced.
So I'm assuming you know how to cook your own food now, or you still have people cook for you.
Oh no, actually in Netherlands I was also great, and I'm still great in Asian cooking. Now more variation, but in Netherlands I was cooking Indonesian food, and my friends, the female friends, they were always from, man, you cook so good, it tastes like my grandmother, how you do that? I said, well, I use a little bit from the paste, the bumbu, what they call, right? So that you put in your food, and then you mix it. But I was always looking on the package from this curry paste, what ingredients are inside. And then I was using also fresh ingredients. So you must always mix. I remember from a commercial, I think in the States you also have Maggi for your soup or stuff like that. And there was a commercial back in the days that say, a little bit from Maggi and a little bit from myself. So for myself is the fresh ingredients. So you can use some pre-packed herbal packets and stuff like that, but look on the package and put some fresh ingredients in it also. It will make your food taste so much better.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. I love cooking as well. Now, I'm actually curious. So you're from Netherlands, you went on a holiday with your friend, you love the people, you came back and you stayed. How long have you been in Laos?
In Laos, 19 years already.
Wow. Okay. And
19
so that
years.
means you love the people, you love the food, and from bodybuilding to holistic coach, walk us through how did that happen?
Well, when I came to Thailand, I was still in a more or less bodybuilding shape, 90 kilo, 10% fat or just below. And I was I did some coaching in the Netherlands, but mostly helping some people in the bodybuilding scene to preparation for a contest because I'm very demanding in my motivational coaching. So I will change your mind, and that you think you can lift anything you want, or you can do anything you want to do. So people came to me from talk a little bit, and then I give some advice, and then they ask me, coach, do you coach? Yeah, a little bit. Can you coach me? How much you charge? And in Netherlands, it was more helping out. Uh, so then I was giving my price, and it was going well. And when I ended up in Laos, here you have a lot of NGOs, UN departments for development. So I say, same in the gym. People came to me automatic and asked me something, and then can you help me? And they have a lot of country directors, the high-end management, and stuff like that. And then the coaching, because you're not only as an at that time personal trainer, you're not only counting the reps and that's it. You have conversations. And I also have a background as a company owner in IT consulting and stuff like that. So my knowledge was quite broad, and when talk, and then they start asking me advice in many other things, and then they ask me from, can we have a coffee chat, so meet up for the coffee, I pay you, and so we can have a decent conversation instead break up in between the sets. So, and that is how coaching was growing. And then I see where people were needing the help. It is not so much about lifting weights in the gym or running along the road for an hour, or a cycle or swimming or whatever physical activity you do. It is all parts in life to make you healthy. I was just reading from a doctor that was posting, oh, I thought I was doing it right. I was exercising, I was eating healthy, and I getting a heart attack, because there are more factors in the quotation to be healthy. Your night rest, your sleep is an important factor. Your social life, how you do you have a social life with family, with friends, and stuff like that? Do you have regular time in nature? And you don't have to go on a holiday in the jungle or somewhere. Just a walk in the park. Be sometimes surrounded by green, between trees, flowers, plants, grounding. I see now also that you have all kind of grounding mats and stuff like that. But hey, in the park, take out your shoes. In Asia, it's pretty normal that you walk bare feet, but take out your shoes and feel contact with earth. If you have the blessing that you have a garden, sometimes be with your hands, and in the garden, do your garden work bare hands, not with gloves on. Touch the earth and stuff like that. You know that some Indian yogi, he was digging a hole. You go barefoot in, covered it, and that was a healing process. Just sitting with your feet in the hole, covered by the dirt for 20 minutes, and then you come out. We forget how much nature, in very simplistic ways, can heal us in many ways.
Yeah, I love that. I actually, my happy place is the beach. So about 30 minutes away from my house, it's there is a beach area that I truly love, and I put my hands in there, my legs and my feet in the water. And it's beautiful. It's like just watching nature alone, like it's healing for mental, physical, right, spiritual, all of the above, really. So yeah, I'm glad that you said that. Now I want to ask this question: how does holistic coaching differ from traditional coaching methods? What are the differences that you've seen?
Well, you mentioned already that I'm a certified life coach. Beside that, I long time ago in Netherlands did my personal training certification and some nutrition certification. But I'm also a spiritual life coach. So I go to things that maybe sometimes people go from, is that a little bit woo-hoo? But a couple hundred years ago, they did go, well, we call it now witches, but actually that were medicine men, women. They know the herbal and the power from plants and the roots and stuff like that. So I try to, with holistic coaching, also approach or ancestor wisdom. And I don't even mean from just 100 years ago from your grandparents. No, ancestors, what knowledge that is since the beginning of our existence. There are always things that you can implement and use. So that is the difference, that you use many things and not only one learning factor in my coaching. I tap in many ways and try to avoid people depending on supplementation, right? Sometimes people start to change the normal meals with all kind of artificial food like shakes and stuff like that. No, a shake is good if you come time short and you're on the run, and okay, then have a replacement meal in a shake. But you should have real food. We have chews; they are there to chew things. While you're chewing your food and take the time to chew your food, you already get everything in your mouth what you need. The digesting doesn't start in the stomach while you swallow it. It starts already while you're chewing it. So that is part from the difference between holistic and traditional coaching.
I love it because I think traditional coaching is, I feel like it's so American and European. Like it's all mental, it's all this, and it's all just conversation. And I'm glad that you said that. As far as herbal medicine, I grew up in it. My grandmother was a town healer, right? She does
Mm-hmm.
use, had a book from the 1700 passed down from Spain from her mom. So a whole month before, we call it Kalagalag in the Philippines. It's literally October 31st or Halloween in America. So a month before that, I would go to the mountains with her, and she would know which plant to pick to make oils from, and you would take these oils to help you. But I know in Laos also have a long history of using plants and herbs and roots, literally from the Chinese. So, all the roots and all the herbal stuff that we have in spices is from China. So we're talking ginseng. Ginseng is very big in Asia. They can
Yes.
cost more than a Dom Perignon, like
Yeah.
ginseng real roots. Turmeric, lemongrass and ginger. They use this for what? Digestive issues, stress, anxiety, even inflammation with turmeric, even skincare with turmeric. I've used as well. So it's not so far fetched. I'm Asian, so I definitely know those. And they also use energetic healing and things like that in that method. So thank you for sharing that. My next question is, what are the key principles of holistic coaching, and how do they impact a client's journey? Because I think you mentioned most of the people that you um, deal with is NGOs, right? So these people are already kind of apprehensive to try new things sometimes just because they're in a new country. Sometimes they're like, I'm going to try it, but they really don't because they don't understand. Or how can you bridge that gap of cultural differences and coach them in a way that is healing for your client's journey?
Well, I tell you, a little bit funny for me. It was a funny part of the story. I was one of my first client online was an American living in Chicago, and well, nutrition was then a big part because he was overweight, and uh, I wanted to make better food choices. And then, okay, he was about his burgers and the big, but he was missing the balance in food. You need some fibers, you know. I'm carnivore based, so I don't believe in 100% vegetarian or vegan because you miss something. And like a vegan, they must already supplement with B12 because that come not in the food. So then the food cannot be healthy and right for you if you need supplementation because it is not in the food. While you would eat something else like an animal protein source and then B12 is already there. So then it says already if we need B12, then we need an animal protein source. But that is now so commercialized. So the beefsteak is well not so good in many parts. You must really source to cows that are better raised and not with medication and steroids and stuff like that. So, but anyway, so this guy, I said, eat more chicken. And you know what he did buy? What he showed me on the next coaching call? A can of chicken hot dogs. And I start laughing. I said, I said, sorry that I laugh. I don't want to insult you, but the only chicken in the chicken hot dog is the word chicken on the label. There's no chicken in the chicken hot dog. There are some things that make it maybe taste like a chicken, but there's no chicken in the chicken hot dog. That is all artificial. So so I teach him, and he was already talking about all the herbs, and yeah, in China, all these herbs like ginger and is used. It have a medical origin, but now we use it in food. So for my wife, her grandfather was very knowledgeable about all the herbs that grow here in the forest, and twice per year he would come from the northern province to Vientiane, the capital city, sit by the hospital, and the people would know him sitting with the boxes, and he had a whole stock and all the herbal leaves and whatever he bring. In no time he was sold out, and you know that you now have here Chinese companies that go for this kind of people, that supply them with all the knowledge about herbal, the benefits of herbs that grow here in Laos, and they ship it to China. So for people to get a more holistic approach, then I say use more herbs in your food. Don't stop by pepper and salt. Get all this flavors in, learn, and it is not only in Asian food. Learn how to implement it in the right dose. Experiment. Don't be so afraid to use something different that you are not familiar with. Now these days, the internet, it is there, and now with AI, you not even have to type it. Just ask, and you get all the information that you need for simple things like that. And you go on YouTube and you tube it, right? I don't say Google it, you tube it, and then you get the videos where people explain and how to use it and how to implement it in your cooking. And if it's that too much, then come to me and I help you where you can find the info, and I help you how to get better nutritional food and how you sleep better, because I'm also a certified meditation teacher. And in meditation you have two ways: the passive and the active. So my meditation is active. Passive is when you sit, what people think, in a quiet space with your candles, incense on a pillow, and you try to quiet your mind. For me, I active my mind. So I visualize compassion. So I bring someone that I love. It can be a person, it can be a pet, in my mind, and I feel the love for this person or this pet. And then I give this love a color, and that this color spread to my body, then around my body, and then to the room, and then to the village, and to the whole country, to the whole globe. And that is how I visualize compassion. And so you see that the mindset gives you everything. If people say I cannot, you're right. But if you say I can, you are right also. It all starts in the mind. So watch your thoughts, watch your self-talk. If you talk negative to yourself, most likely your day will be negative. If you have a positive mindset, your mind is positive. And I'm an extremely positive person. I remember when my best friend came to visit me in Laos, and he talked to my wife. He said, Tommy is so extreme. Even if we would stand in a sewing tank until here, then he still, oh, look, let's look over there. And he said, dude, I know, but first get out of the shit here before we go to something else, right? But
Yeah.
if you would give in to where the shit where you are, it is very hard to come out. But if you
Hmm.
see already the light from, oh, there, that is more fun, then you find the solutions to get out of the shit. I mean, the sewing tank was just a metaphor.
Right. I'm glad that you talk about that because that was my next question. Like, what role do mindfulness and meditation play in holistic coaching? Because here's the thing, I do meditation, but because I have ADHD, there's literally 7 people in my head talking all at once at the same time. Right. Like, I just have a
Yeah.
very busy mind. Um, I have to have my iPad running, my cell phone running sometimes, and then I can concentrate on my project. That's how I can concentrate. Is if I have noise here and my brain is focusing on what the movie is all about, and then I'm on LinkedIn trying to see what people are messaging me or text messages from Mike or somebody else, and then I'm doing my project, right? Like that's how I function on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So meditation for me takes a lot of energy if I have to quiet down. So I like guided meditation, right?
Yes.
And being mindful, a lot of people it's like, oh, I'm a mindfulness coach or whatever, but when I see what they're doing and what they're saying, they're not consistent. So I'm like, how can you tell me that you can coach me when you yourself are not mindful of what you're doing and how you're affecting your community, right? So
Hmm.
I feel like mindfulness has been so overused that people don't even know what that means anymore. But
Correctly.
right, in your coaching, what role do mindfulness, like true mindfulness and meditation, play in a holistic coaching? Because I'm trying to figure out, like, is that good for me, or is that something that I would be stressed out because my brain is just not functioning the way to quiet it down? I can't quiet it down like that.
Hmm. Well, I give you an example, and then you think, oh, you're quite the same on my level. So back in the Netherlands, when internet just came, I'm sitting behind my PC with a big screen, watching something internet, was listening to radio, had the TV on, and a magazine. And then a friend called, and I'm on the phone with her and talking. And then what my mind also was getting from what I was doing on the computer, reading in the magazine, listening to the TV and the radio. And then she said, what you all doing? I said, well, all at the same time, but I just time box it in that, okay, a little bit here, a little bit there, and then give it you. So when you talk about meditation and I cannot find because I have 7 voices, I have a lot of thoughts in my mind when I start my day with a meditation. So I wake up, and as soon as I wake up, I bring myself to my morning meditation because your brain waves are still in this in between state, right? They are not yet in the full waking state. So it is more easy to get a little bit in your meditative state. When you say, oh, but when I wake up, I have right away the whole school yard in my mind. Everybody have it. You have about 10,000 thoughts per minute. And you have not 10,000 voices there. So it will say that your mind select already what it give attention to or not. So when you will be in your or you want to go to your meditative state, then just acknowledge that these voices are there, but you just don't give attention to it. I always say, as a kid, for sure, everybody as a kid was laying on his back on the grass and watching the clouds pass by, right? And you look up in the sky. You was not going, turning your head left and right to see all the clouds. No, you was just following the clouds in your sight. And it's the same with meditation. You acknowledge that the thoughts are there, but you don't give attention to your thoughts. And when you do a guided meditation, then you just follow the voice. But you can guide yourself already by just following your breathing. Or you're humming yourself one, one, one. So that is already in help. That is a tool how you silence yourself to give attention to everything what is going on in your mind, because you just breathe, and every time in between the breathing you say the number one. You can say it out loudly or just in your mind. But I use a meditation, and then also I teach people that just with a couple numbers to get in a meditative state, and it go from 3 to 1. With 3 is that I do a body scan, that I totally relax my body, and I did that so many times guided that now I just breathe a couple times deep. I visualize the number 3 in my mind, and I say it 3 times, and I'm in a totally relaxed state. So it is, and also people go from, oh, I need to be sitting for 1 hour or a half hour or 2 hours. You can, but you don't need to. I just before our session here, I sit a couple minutes that I slow myself down. I close my eyes and just follow my breathing to be ready for here. I do that many times with my coaching calls. Then I say, okay, come on, sit down, close your eyes, follow your breathing. Don't control, just follow it. And then say, okay, breathe in, hold it, breathe out, wait, breathe in. You do that 3 or 4 times, and you are present. You are in the present time. You are aware what is happening now. Your mind is not what you did before, that you did go shopping or whatever you did, or walking the dog, and you are also not thinking for what you still have to do. Sometimes
Yeah.
it is just slow down. It is not quite the mind, just slow the mind down, and then
I like that.
meditation get better.
I think Dr. New is the one that taught me like you have just the Om Mani Padme for the Buddhist traditions, the Tibetan Buddhism hum for
Yeah.
the mantra. And so
Yes.
when I'm like need to meditate, I literally will say that because in the morning sometimes I just close my eyes, let my dog out and they do their business. And while they're doing their
Mm,
business for at least 15 minutes, I just close my
mm,
eyes and then pay attention to my breathing. And I would repeat that until I can
mm,
get into that rhythm of like, focus, CJ, focus. Today's the day,
mm,
and that does help for me in terms of um, getting my day set, right?
mm.
Because my house is very noisy. Like I only have one kid and she's already 17, but my dogs, oh my God, they're so demanding. So
Yeah.
I also have
I
a bird.
understand.
So I hear your dog too. I think you have a big dog as well.
Yeah, I have a pit bull. He's almost 1 year, and he's standing now by the gate. It's about 50 meters from where I'm sitting. So he
Oh,
nicely
wow.
guides anyone that he don't know. He makes sure that they hear his strong voice from, "Watch out, you're not invited."
Don't
But
come. Yeah,
yeah, but yeah, the three words, and you know that these words, okay, they are now is famous. You can use that also in your meditation. Did you know that these three words are basic basic sounds? So they already are there before that Buddhist was created, and that are the only sounds that you can make without using your tongue. So most things you use your tongue very much. And I was in my history, I had a tongue piercing. And on the moment that they put the piercing in your tongue, then you get really aware how much you use your tongue with talking, with eating, with everything. And in the
mm-hmm.
beginning, you don't want to talk. Well, I'm talk active, and then you get this piercing in, and you must give your tongue a little bit rest so that it can heal this little wound. And I
Yeah,
was talking with my friends and on a show, and then okay, then I could put ice in because my tongue was irritated, and that shut me up. But yeah, normally my friends say I'm in the Netherlands. You had a commercial about batteries, Duracell batteries, and then you had
that's
some
me
toy
too.
with a toy.
Energizer. Energizer bunny. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. So then they say, yeah, and you have a double battery. You never stop talking and helping people and educating. So that's also a part why I love being a coach, helping people
So
to better themselves.
like give me an ideal clients that you have, right, that you're working, like what would be the key principles of holistic coaching and how do they impact a client's journey? Because I'm actually very curious, right? Because people always say lifestyle coach or just life coaching itself, but
Mhm.
yours is a bit different because you're looking at the whole person, not just the person's mental abilities, but the physical, and not just the physical, right? You're also looking at
Yeah,
the spiritual. So, what
yeah,
are some of the
and the mental.
yeah?
Yeah, everything. Well, the thing is, I sport my whole life, so I'm not one of these coaches that was getting a wake up call and they need to change their life, and otherwise they would well end up badly. I started as a 6 year old, like everybody in Europe, playing football, or in America you say soccer. That was nothing for me, so I ended up in martial arts. I did judo, karate, pinchak silat, some kung fu variations, and even play water polo for condition. I run a half marathon in a very good time. But when I was 16, I started implementing strength training, actually to better myself in my other sports. But with martial arts, of course, you come with Eastern philosophy because, well, it were Asian teachers, Asian masters that were coaching us. And then you see already how much mindset was there. I came while I was in bodybuilding by an acupuncture coach, teacher, medic, and he was actually a Western educated medic and the director of an hospital for dementia, older people. And he did that on the side, but he was also a coach for the boxing team. But then he was also going on self meditation. So he was bringing yourself in a meditative state and then visualize your whole training. So from every step that you do, you come in the locker room, how you put your clothes on, or how you change your clothes to your training gear, and how you put your socks on, your shoes on, and everything is already visualized. So there I see how much the mental state where you are in impact how you perform. And it is not only in sport, because like I said, I had business in Netherlands also, and even in Bangkok I had a consulting business. Your mental state, how you're standing in life, how you look at things, how you approach problems, say everything, or you succeed or not. So there is where I learn how to implement and put this all together with my almost 50 years experience being in sport. Having here then all these CEOs and country directors and stuff like that, that's why I changed in a certain moment from lifestyle coaching. It is not really life, it is the lifestyle. And I can tell you how I did do it, but if that doesn't fit in your lifestyle, you will not continue. You will stop. You pay maybe for my coaching program, and then had said it is a 3 months, 6 months, or a 1 year, whatever you commit yourself to, what you will stop afterwards, because when I'm not there anymore, I don't hold your hand in an imaginary way while we are on the calls, and I sending you message in your email or in your WhatsApp and whatever to keep you accountable. If that is not there anymore, slowly you will back to your old style, because it didn't fit. I force you in a way that was not natural, good for you. On the other hand, habits need to change, right? That's why I prefer the 6 months program, because then your mind make new pathways, reprogram your mind. So I'm a big fan of Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton, epigenetics. So how we program our genes, and the genes we program with our mind, but it takes time. So with my clients, I need to find what the lifestyle is and where I can change little mini habits. And then funny, an old friend of mine here from Laos, he's originally from the UK, and was just here to visit because he married to a Lao wife. And he bring for me the book Atomic Habits. He said, I was reading it, and then I think, you always talk like that. Well, different wording. You call it mini habits or small little changes. But he said, actually, it is quite the same what I read in this book. And well, the writer from that book, he came to his knowledge after he had some different life impact. He need to change his lifestyle. And yeah, I work with many people that need to change the lifestyle. That's how I learn in practice and how I could help them to change. But it always starts in the mind. On the moment that your mind accept the change that you want to do, then it get easy. So
True, true. Because I spent I think 2 years now. I think maybe 2 months only that I went to. I've been paying for my gym membership that I don't go. Yeah, so I am familiar with Bruce Lipton, right? He was a cell biologist, literally. I
yeah,
think he was a professor in University of Wisconsin. I
so
read
good.
his book, the oh my gosh, what was that? The Biology of Belief. That's what I
Yes.
read.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, in 2005, where he's like, your mind can literally influence cellular functions in the gene expression, right? He's like,
Yes.
there's a genetic determinism that genes solely determine our biological fate, but the role of environmental factors and consciousness shapes our biology. That means
Mm.
then that your thoughts and beliefs can impact your health and your well-being by influencing your biological process in our bodies. And so I was like, wow, perceptions and attitudes, right? And
Yes.
they want to make sure, he basically was like, hey, promote healing or contribute to the disease. That's
Mm.
literally what you're doing. Either you promote your healing of what
Mm-hmm.
you're doing, because some things we can't control, like our environments. If there's pollution, what are you going to do? Close up in a dome, right? but
Yep.
every day the concepts of mind body healing is literally about promoting healing or contributing to your disease. What are you doing? It's really
Yep.
two ways. And so that's how I was reading his book about biology of belief. So yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned him.
The thing is when you talk about that. So for me, when people think, oh, but you are always in the gym and always with physical activity and you're so healthy and this and that. I did party like a party animal. I was one of the trendsetters back in Netherlands. I was beside my work in a company and my in work in my company that my own company. So I was an employee, I was an employer, and I was in the party scene and the whole social shit that go around. So I had to find my sleep hours in between so that I could enjoy everything. And alcohol consumption was there, but also the balance from going to the gym and eating healthy food. So I was not from having a hangover or I cannot have a good workout, so I stay home. No, I did go there, and my nice training buddies, they would tease me and say shit to me to keep me motivated. Or when you was dozing a little bit away from, hey, are you back in dreamland and thinking about the girl from last night? Come on, next set. And I just did something. So even it was 50 minutes or 20 minutes, it was better than nothing. And if you have one time nothing, it is very easy to have a second time, a third time, and then fourth time, and then before you know, you stop. So no matter what my conditions were, I did go. And even when I was not in the party scene and just tired from business, and I still bring myself to the gym. And 9 out of 10, you are just tired in your mind. Your body can handle way more than you think that it can handle. Look.
Yeah, but if we continue to proceed with the way people are doing their bodies, when you get older, you pay for it big time. I've seen it happening right
Mm,
now in some of my family members where they were super active literally 10 years ago, maybe even less than 10 years ago.
mm.
And
Just go
you
back
get,
in. Mm,
yeah, you got a stroke, and then now it's like the end.
yeah.
He's not moving, he's not, you're on depression because you're comparing yourself, but this is your reality. So you gotta, that's my other question before we end is, how do you help someone who don't want to help themselves out of depression because they're comparing their previous life to their now current life and not thinking that they have a future when they're literally just 60 years old? There's more life to live.
Mm-mm.
How do you
Uh,
motivate?
talk. So I remember one time from a native English speaker when I excused myself from, oh, I'm not so good in the language. And then he said, well, you know how to play enough with words because you make me do things that I never would do without you. I would not even try, but with you, I believe that I can. So with my clients, I always say, I need to brainwash you. I said, brainwash. That sounds so negative. So I don't brainwash you, but I wash your brain. I clean up your bruise. Are you familiar with that English word, bruise? No, because it is an invented word. It is bullshit rules. Everybody grow up with some thinking that is from their own little environment, from their own family, from their own village, from their own neighborhood, and they take that as an absolute truth. So I try to get these bullshit rules out of your mind and then slowly change your way of thinking. When you change your way of thinking, then you can do everything you want. You are a mom, even this long time ago. Just go back when your daughter was a baby, small, and to keep you out of sleep while sick and whatever, and you had to work and you had to do this, and you could do everything because you set your mind to it. So you can see how much we can handle in certain circumstances. So same with implementing new lifestyle habits. You just need to change the way of thinking, how you look at it. How you look at it is how you make what is it, a nice expression. Don't make from a mosquito an elephant. It is a little
Yeah,
problem, but you blow it up with how more you think about it. Don't give it
yeah,
attention. Don't feed it. You know, it's like a plant. When you give a plant fertilizers and nutrition, it will grow big. But every little
true.
shit in your mind, also, how more you feed it, how bigger it wet, and then in a certain moment, it is like a wall that you cannot cross
Do
over
anything.
anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like how you said brainwashing because the first thing that comes to mind when you said that. Like, to make it more flowery, I would be like, you mean covert influence, right?
Yeah. Yes,
Not
but
bring covert
no, but
influencing
I
them to
like
think
to slap. I like to slap when I talk with people from slap. If you say it too nice, too soft, it doesn't land. And I speak from 30 years coaching. Sometimes you must just say from Mike Tyson, boom, here it is. Well, not
yeah,
literally. So I always joke from, man, I can hurt you without touching you. I mean, in the gym, not with talking. Right? And
yeah,
then I say, on the moment that I touch you, then you are happy that I was there to help you a little bit. But same in coaching calls, you sometimes you must feel a little bit the pain. So I go back in own experience when I had my business partner. I was just fresh in business, and then we had some conversations, and he said things that was hurting my feelings. But he was also my best friend. And then he said, "Okay, I go now there." So we had a Spanish tapas bar close by the office. He said, "I go there. Come there when you're ready. Think over what I say. When it is out of your mind in a negative way, that you see what I actually try to say, then come there and we have a wine and be good to go." So, and that is for most people. Sometimes you need to wake up a little bit, and it can hurt a little bit when you get really put in your face. But then take your time, think it over, see what the person actually tried to say. Don't make it from your view, from, oh, I don't like that he say like that. No, no. Why did he say like that? Think back, and then you change your mindset, and then in that way you shift your mindset, and then you can go other directions, and that will help you then to change your lifestyle.
yeah. It's a lifestyle change. That's what I always say. Like, I want to lose weight, but I don't know if I'm willing to change my mind yet. I should. I can't expect a different outcome if I'm doing the same thing over and over, right? So it's not going to happen unless I make it happen. I make everything happen except for that one thing because I'm not focusing on it. It's called
Mm.
intentional, right?
Yeah.
Um, oh my gosh, it's a great conversation. So before we end, this is my last question for you. If this is your last day today on this earth, what would be your parting message to your current and future families in terms of living life, legacy, and impact?
I enjoy every morning when I wake up, and I'm happy that with my age I'm healthy with no medication. So I say always to people, live every day as it is your last, because here in a Buddhist country, you never know what is tomorrow. I can be hit by a car this afternoon, right? Driving here is an is an experience. There are traffic rules official, but they are not implemented. There are some rules in between. So live every day as it is your last day. Don't set things for tomorrow. And so live today, not in the past, not tomorrow. Tomorrow never come. You don't know for tomorrow. Every morning when you wake up is a blessing, and then take it. Take everything that you can get on that day.
I
That would
love
be
it.
my message.
Living in the moment, living in the present, right? I love it. Thank
Yes.
you so much for your time today, getting to know you better, your thought processes, how you would coach someone. I mean, we went everywhere in this conversation. So thank you
Yeah.
so much. Now, do you have a program that people could reach out to you in terms of your coaching?
Yeah. They can reach out to me on LinkedIn or Facebook, and just Google my name, and it will pop up my account. Connect with me, and I have a 3 months or 6 months. Most of my clients, they go for the 6 months after they talk with me, and I help them with everything: nutrition, physical activity. I talk a lot about gym because that is my passion, but it's not the only way. It can be even just implementing a certain walking strategy spread over the day, and that will also have a big impact. But yeah, I have a 3 months or a 6 months program depending on the needs and the budget.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today, guys. LinkedIn, I will be putting it on the messages below. After the messages below, there's going to be a LinkedIn link for Tommy, and then DM him directly. If you can't find him, let me know, and I'll be happy to connect you with Tommy. Thank you so much for your time today.
Well, it was a pleasure to be here. I enjoy the conversation, and you see, I go all the way. It is like like a like a tree, starting by the base, and then you get all the branches, and I go all the branches before we go to the top.
That's right. That's how I roll too. Is I want to get to know who you are, what you do, and then go from there. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.
Are you a curious student, eager to learn new skills and make your mark in the world? Or are you a professional seeking to advance your career and unlock your full potential? You need to be equipped with effective soft skills like communication, problem solving, teamwork, and more. The Level Up Academy by Doc Leland bridges the gap between education and employment through transferable skills training. Get the soft skills you need to be more effective at work.